believe. That's the church's teaching. The church teaches she did not go on to sin. She didn't have personal sin. But it hadn't infallibly defined that. That is not something that has been infallibly defined by a council or a pope. And so even though it's the
Which is ironic because it's been infallibly defined by both a council and a pope. But let's continue.
church teaching, and even though some theologians would say, well, it's not a matter of faith, but it's proximate to the faith, formally speaking, this is a non-infallible teaching. And therefore, if one had really good reasons, one hypothetically could disagree as an exceptional case.
Okay, let's say there is a teaching I need to hold the submission of intellect and will, but let's say there's a teaching I need to hold the submission of intellect and will, but I can't honestly believe it. What do I do? Well, first and foremost, you should make an act of faith. But beside that point, the important to read in this way is Donum Veritatis, and then also the USCCB document, which its name is escaping me right now, which talk about this. But what you should do is you should consult with those prudent and wise men in your life who are able to provide you with proper resources for informing you on this behalf. And also, what you should do. I'm trying to think. There was a second point in my mind that I was thinking of. But yeah, I think you also have to do some serious soul searching when it comes to the way in which theological faith is upheld by all of those related teachings of the church, and why it is necessary for you to hold to those and not be addicted or attached to your own judgment. Do you have anything else to say, Hassan?
Sometimes there's a good and genuine reason to disagree, but those are found after serious, meticulous examination. And that serious, meticulous examination can only be done once you have the tools to do the due diligence on that matter. And having the tools means that you've studied fundamental theology, you know where in the literature to go, etc., etc., etc. You can't just be like, I don't really like this, it doesn't click for me. That's not okay. Also, in a standard case, the reasons that you would disagree with an act of the magisterium is because it's overruled by a higher authority, right? So let me give a case. Ad Splendidum Nitentis teaches that sodomy is by nature something that is supposed to be a punishable crime. Okay. The Holy Father and some Pope Francis non-magisterial Vatican documents say the opposite and say that sodomy is not a crime and cannot be criminalized, even though it's a sin. Pope Francis is very clear that he's not talking about homosexual inclinations, because he says that this thing is a sin but not a crime. And obviously having the inclinations is not a sin. So he's very clear that he's referring to sodomitical actions, intentional sodomitical actions, which involve the will. Now, let's say that Ad Splendidum Nitentis did not exist. Would we then be held to the teaching of Pope Francis? No, because we can refer to the consensus of our dogmaticians, the consensus of our exegetical theologians, and the consensus of our moralists against this very low-weight teaching in an interview. Think on an airplane. Furthermore, the principles of sacred scripture clearly rule this out.
So true.